Alyssa Miller. I am forever grateful to have had the chance to work for and with one of my industry idols. Betty Burke was a mentor, a friend, and she felt like my very own fairy godmother. My favorite memory of Betty is her smile. It was friendly, sisterly, motherly, grandmotherly, authoritative, and authentic. Whether it was a warm greeting or a stern warning, her sweet smile would be there, assuring all those in her presence that all would be okay.
I miss Betty, a feeling I do not think will ever go away. She was kind, always willing to listen, and ready to help anyone who needed it. The way she cared for Nanog and the people in the community helped guide the organization. Betty obviously did more for Nanog than I can explain in a short statement. Her contribution is and should be praised and honored. But to me, who she was will always be foremost in my memory. Goodbye, Betty.
To me, Betty was the force that made Nanog work. I was part of the Nanog program committee in 2008 to 12, and during that time, Betty was the ever-lasting, ever-working, dynamic energy to make everything work while we at the same time was changing everything. I remember her fondly, and I'm so sad that she has gone to a better place.
Betty always had a smile ready for me. We worked together on so many Nanog events, always under some kind of stress, and her passion for the community always shined through in everything she did. Her determination built the foundation for such a strong Nanog org, and I'm so grateful for the time I got to work with her. She's missed.
My name is Kat Gurinsky, and I'm the current chair of the Nanog Program Committee. Betty was a great role model, a shining light to all of those like me who looked up to her. She was the face of Nanog for many of the years when I first started attending. She will truly be missed. Her presence lit up any room she entered. She was Nanog, and we will continue to do great things here in memory of what she started.
Years ago, I used to volunteer to help set up the Nanog meetings, which involved tasks such as building and configuring the network, running power and Ethernet cables to the seats, and so on. Betty was often doing the same, and I remember being so surprised one day to learn that she was in fact the manager of the team. She seemed always willing to get her hands dirty and to lead by example.
Betty was always called Mom by most of us during those early years of Nanog. And she worked just like that, always giving advice and keeping track of what was happening to make sure nothing fell through the cracks as we prepared for the next Nanog meeting. She was an inspiration to us all and has been missed for a while.
Betty was instrumental to the Nanog community as it exists today. Through challenging times, Betty held strong to her vision, built and rebuilt from scratch for the greater good of the community and the internet. She believed in the best of everyone and never gave up on trying to find a way to help. She was not only strong-willed, but put in the work to support it. She didn't just build the foundation of our community, she built up each and every one of us. She took us under her wings as her own and helped us find the path to success in our careers, personal lives, and as a part of the community. She was generous in giving love and support and always led by example with courage and compassion. The internet lost a superstar in Betty, and I lost a friend and a mentor.
I first met Betty Burke at the Las Vegas Nanog meeting in 2005. Merit had begun an effort to improve Nanog. This was a tough job. They sent Betty to do it. My fondest memory of Betty was her expressions. You always knew where you stood if you paid attention to Betty's lips. Betty's expressions were priceless. Straight lips were all business. A smile was not unusual. Frowned lips meant you were in trouble or that something happening was troubling. I will miss Betty's smile greatly.
When I first got involved in leadership of the North American Network Operators Group, Betty was always available to offer guidance, help, and a sounding board for ideas. Later, when we were evolving into a standalone nonprofit corporation, Betty was the obvious choice to become our first executive director. In addition to her knowledge and ability to run the organization, she had a deep commitment and love for our community. On top of all that, she was a good friend and she will be sorely missed.
My name is Edward McNear. I first met Betty back in 2011 when Veriland started providing technical support for Nanog events. I always enjoyed working with Betty. She was fair, straight to the point, and she absolutely didn't suffer fools. But you always knew where you stood with her. And I owe a special debt to Betty. It was she who encouraged me to apply for the position of Nanog Executive Director. I had never even considered the possibility. Thank you, Betty, for being such a kind and caring soul. I'll miss you.
Hi, it's Mike Hughes. I served on the Nanog Programme Committee in the 2000s. When people ask me to think about Betty, the thing I'll always think about the most is, there's two things. One of them was Betty's willingness to listen. And Betty came and got more involved in Nanog at a time when Nanog needed to change and adapt. And then the other thing was Betty's own willingness to embrace that change. Nanog wouldn't be what it was without Betty, and there's such a massive legacy that she leaves behind that I really can't say much more than that, other than what a great contributor to our community. I'm really thankful.
Without your thoughtful leadership, Betty, through the merit days, the new Nog evolution, and onward until you retired, I'm confident to say Nanog would be nowhere near the organization it is today. I want to take a moment to repeat something I wish I had said more often when we were working together on Nanog. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the community. Thanks for sharing our vision on where our evolution could go. And above all, thank you for being willing and able to serve. We will never forget you.
A quick story. When Nanog originally split from Merit, Betty worked without pay to help the new org get off the ground, despite not even being promised a job at the end. She applied and was interviewed with a number of other applicants, but that was Betty. She thought it was right for the community to find the best person for the job, even if the person was not her. All that mattered was the community and the individuals in it.
Sometime around 2010, I was serving on Nanog's steering committee, and we decided to make Nanog an independent organization. It's a real testament to Betty's passion, dedication, and belief in herself that she joined this new organization as its interim and then full-time director. The internet community owes much to her for being there and ensuring Nanog's success, and it was certainly my pleasure to work with her through that transition and many years beyond.
Hi, my name is Sylvie Laperrière, and I'm a friend of Betty from the Nanog community. Dear family, dear friends of Betty, I'm very saddened by Betty's passing. She touched so many lives. She had a lasting impact on an entire technology community, but more importantly, she became friends with so many of us. That was Betty's superpower. Betty was radiant. She always smiled. She gleamed. She was able to bring the best out of everyone who had the chance to work with her. So I want to share my sincere appreciation and thanks for Betty's impact in all of our lives in the technology community. We have a better internet thanks to her. I am very honored to have been able to call Betty a friend, and I am sad and I'm thankful. More important, I'm really grateful for the friendship that we developed. Thank you, Betty. Thank you for everything you did, and may you rest in peace.
I could tell you a zillion stories of Betty doing her job well, or Betty being a nice person or a good friend. But what's coming to mind as my favorite Betty story is a little different. We were sitting around a Vancouver hotel lobby with a group of people late one evening when an obnoxious drunk guy came up, tried to join our group, and launched into a racist and sexist rant. At some point, Betty interrupted him and told him he needed to leave. "You're telling me to leave? Who are you?" he responded, or something to that effect. "I am Nanog," Betty replied.
I will truly miss Betty Burke. Betty was amazing. She led Nanog for so many years when I was lucky enough to host Nanog over and over again, and she was my partner and compatriot every time. We worked so well together, and I will miss her, one of my dearest old friends, and I truly will think she'll be missed, and I'm grateful for everything she gave to the industry. Betty, love you, and I'm sure you're in a wonderful place looking down on all of us.
From the first time I met Betty almost 20 years ago, she welcomed everyone into Nanog, made us feel like we were part of the community, and helped us when we were having trouble. She listened, she thought about how she could make the community better, and she helped the community grow from a small one of several hundred people to what we know of as Nanog today, a group of several thousand people who are participating on a regular basis in our conferences. She'll be greatly missed, and she was the heart of that endeavor as we grew it to the organization people know today.